From smooth-talking crook and wannabe movie producer to a vampire fighting musician, today's focus of Oscar Rewind is a first-time, and in my honest opinion, long-time overdue nominee. We are in Season 3 of Oscar Rewind, and today I am looking at MGM and UA Distribution Company's Get Shorty. Written by Scott Frank, based on the novel by Elmore Leonard, and directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, the film released in late 1995. And yes, this is the third 1995 film in a row this season. Clearly, that was a pretty good year. What's up, everybody? Cinephile Mike here. It's a new episode of Oscar Rewind where I'm looking back at the films of this past year's Oscar nominees and winners. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss any of these throwbacks. We've got some really good ones coming your way. We are in Chapter 2. It is Breakout Performances. This chapter focuses on early standout roles from some of this year's other nominees, performances that helped define careers even if they weren't their first. And today's spotlight is for Delroy Lindo. Now, while Get Shorty wasn't his key breakout, this film did shift gears for him in terms of bigger studio projects. So if you've never seen Get Shorty, here's your quick spoiler-free setup. Chili Palmer, played by John Travolta, is a Miami loan shark and a film buff. Man after my own heart. The film buff, not the loan shark. After his boss dies, Chili is sent to track down a missing debtor, Leo, played by David Paymer, at the request of his new boss, Ray Bones Barboni, played by Dennis Farina, whom Chili really doesn't care for, which leads him from Miami to Vegas and eventually to Hollywood. While in LA, Chili crosses paths with struggling B-movie producer Harry Zim, played by Gene Hackman, and unexpectedly finds himself pitching his real-life exploits as a movie idea. Seeing an opportunity, Chili starts inserting himself into the film industry, working with actress Karen Flores, played by Rene Russo, and trying to get a project off the ground. To do this, he will have to charm the big actor of the time, Martin Weir, played by Danny DeVito, and also come up against another pair of criminals who want in, Bo Catlett, played by Delroy Lindo, and Bear, played by James Gandolfini. Now, of course, Chili's past doesn't stay behind him. Between rival mobsters, shady investors, and dangerous deals, he has to navigate both the criminal underworld and the chaos of Hollywood. As the lines between those two worlds start to blur, Chili realizes that maybe making movies isn't that different from the life that he's already been living. I have to say, this movie was a lot of fun in ways that I hadn't expected. At the time, I never saw the film, I had no interest, and it became one of those that I would always say, I'll get to it. However, in addition to being laugh-out-loud funny, it really is a very clever satire of the movie business as a whole, and what makes the pieces work is the full commitment of the cast. Each of these characters fits a certain stereotype, and while it would be easy to dip into extremes, the actors all play the reality of their situation. And additionally, when it comes to casting, I won't call out the barrage of other talent that pops up in this film, but this film really was a who's who of the time. Barry Sonnenfeld, himself a prolific director at the time, knows how to poke just enough fun at the industry without biting the hand that feeds him. One prime example, the scene at the Ivy when DeVito, Russo, and Travolta and Hackman meet for a lunch meeting. I'll just say omelet. Speaking of performances, since the reason he is here, Lindo is delightful as Bo, the criminal who wants to be in the movie business. He brings his natural swagger and charm to a very disarming character. You're never quite sure if he's gonna offer you a drink or throw you off a roof. It's this element that makes his character one of the more fascinating amongst the bunch, and probably why this mainstream role helped catapult him into other projects that would follow. And I would also be remiss if I didn't highlight the absolute joy I got out of seeing Dennis Farina as another overcompensating gangster. He was quite enjoyable, and I have to say, for DeVito, it was nice to see him underplay the usually manic energy we get from him in other projects. Again, this speaks to Sonnenfeld's strength, the direction of the ensemble. No one outshines the other, and we are truly treated to a comedic take that, it's just a delight. Now, my one issue, the film maybe had a few too many twists when you really lay out all of the subplots, but I will say they all get tied up in a nice bow by the end of the film's hour and 40-minute runtime. This film screams 90s in all the best ways possible, from the fashion to the sets. It's a joy, and everything set to a delightful score by John Lurie. And so much so that 10 years later, we would, get Be Cool, the sequel to this award-winning flick. So to that end, let's talk box office and awards. After its run, the film made $72,101,622 domestically and $43 million internationally, for a worldwide take of $115,101,622. Critically, the film was a little more positive with the critics, sitting with an 89% on the tomato meter from 57 reviews and a 70% on the popcorn meter from over 50,000 audience reviews. Award season-wise, Get Shorty received just under 24 nods and wins, including a Golden Globe win for John Travolta for Best Actor in a Comedy or Musical, 2 other nods for Best Screenplay and Best Motion Picture Comedy or Musical. The Amazing Ensemble was nominated for Outstanding Performance by a Cast at the Actor Awards, formerly SAG. Scott Frank was a Writers Guild of America nominee for Best Adapted Screenplay. And the man for whom we are here, Mr. Lindo, was nominated for Best Supporting Actor by the National Society of Film Critics Awards for his work both here and in Clockers, which also came out the same year. Get Shorty, again, a very smart and enjoyable satire, well-made 4-star film. If you haven't seen this one or need a rewatch, it is currently streaming on Prime. And that's it for episode 12 of season 3 of Oscar Rewind. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments. Does this film make you want to go and produce movies? Please follow me on all social media platforms and on Letterboxd, and check out my website, Cinephile Mike, for more exclusive cinematic content. I'll see you for the next rewind, but until then, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.